Hello world, my name is Tim Rossrick and welcome to the Dev Report, where we go over everything that happened last week. This week we got a bunch of good stuff. We always have a bunch of good stuff, but this week specifically we have a bunch of good stuff, so I recommend you watch, but I won't keep you here. First up, we got an update to a story last week, which if you're not familiar, a lot of people were concerned that they weren't going to be able to keep working on their SpatialOS game with Unity based on some of the changes that Unity made to their terms of service. But we got an update to that story where SpatialOS confirmed that they will have future Unity support in their plugin. And then Unity updated the terms of service again in response to this whole kerfuffle, and it means that SpatialOS is no longer in breach of contract with Unity, which is good news for devs. Then we got a Steam update that makes it easier to find DLC. A lot of indies skip out on DLC and they just stick to making games, but if it's easier to find DLC and you got a good game, maybe it might be worth trying that as an additional revenue source. And one of the coolest pieces of Steam news, I think, is that Valve wants to overhaul discoverability on Steam with machine learning this year. This is epic news. If you've been around the channel for a long time, you know that I am constantly saying discoverability is the biggest problem in games. And it's not just games, it's in media in general. Discoverability is the biggest problem in entertainment, and anybody that can solve that, I think, has the future of the world at their fingertips. If there's one person I think can pull it off with the money, it might be Valve. So I'm excited to see what they do. Haven't been a super fan of their discoverability changes in the past, but let's give them the benefit of the doubt, I guess, and hope. Then we got an analyst report for 2018 on crowdfunding. A lot of people have been concerned that crowdfunding has been declining and places like Kickstarter and Indiegogo might not be a good place to fund your game, but this report details that it's been stable for crowdfunding. It hasn't been a great year for video game crowdfunding, but it's been pretty stable. There's a graph here that shows an eventual decline in projects funded per year, so we are seeing somewhat of a decline, but it's nice to know that it still might be a viable option. And we got a really cool post on Netflix's Bandersnatch and how to make the marriage last between cinema and gaming. If you don't know what Bandersnatch is, basically it's a Netflix original movie that has choose your own adventure style elements to it, so you can actually get multiple endings in the movie. I think it's really cool. It's really interesting. I watched it, I got a few endings, and it's about a game developer, so how can you go wrong there? But the post goes into detail on how to establish a good emotional connection with the viewer base and how to make it effective. It's worth a look. And then in somewhat related news but kind of weird, Netflix claims Fortnite is now a bigger competitor than HBO. And if you've been around the channel for a while, you've heard me say that entertainment all competes with entertainment. I don't think this is good or bad. I think this is obvious, to me anyway, and I think it's something to take into consideration when you're making and marketing a game, because you have to have something worth their attention. I don't want to discourage you by saying you're competing with Netflix and Fortnite, because you're not. The only person you're competing with is who you were yesterday. Hashtag motivation. And then Reddit user leading disorder gave us a game dev PSA that a lot of people play PC games on the TV and asked nicely for devs to make font sizes adjustable. Now, regardless whether you go this route and actually make your font sizes adjustable, I think this is a worthwhile consideration if you're making a PC game. There are many different screen sizes, and allowing people to play the game they want to play without getting in their way is really important, so take note. Then we got a sad story from someone that had to DMCA their own game because he got hijacked by a publisher. And I'm not sharing this because I want to discourage you from using publishers. I'm sharing this because I want to warn you about the potential bad publishers out there. There are some really scammy, nasty people that you have to watch out for. It's nothing against publishing, it's just that you have to be careful who you do business with. Let's not go on a witch hunt here, but it's worth a read. Then to combat the previous post, I want to share a story about a publisher agreeing to change a very abusive contract to an okay one. That doesn't sound all that great, but what I want to illustrate here is that publishers need you. That's how they make revenue. And if you really want to work with somebody and they really want to work with you, they will change their terms. You can come to an agreement. It's called a negotiation. You don't just sign the first thing they give you, you work out something that's mutually beneficial. That's the way this business works. So don't ever be afraid to ask for changes to a contract in any type of business situation. Disclaimer, I'm not a lawyer and you should never take legal advice from me. Just saying. And then in this week's content drop, we got Mind Games, brain training for game developers from the GDC Vault. If you're not a part of the GDC channel on YouTube, I highly recommend you check it out. It's awesome. And this was just a really cool video I thought you should see. And we're not done with GDC yet because they posted another video called Rewards in Video Games that I think is worth a watch, so check that out as well. And then one of my favorite game dev YouTubers, Jonas Tyroller, gave us a video on how to finish long game projects. This is a subject I covered a bunch and I recommend you watch his take on it. And then we got another video from Rick Davidson, the game career coach. Rick was one of the guys that actually inspired me to start a YouTube channel, and when I started YouTube, he was way bigger than me, and he's doing a video with Thomas Brush, and I love both of those guys, so I recommend you check it out. And just in case you didn't know, my game PHILOPHOBIA launches in 19 days from today. It's been an epic 4-year journey, and it's finally coming to a close. If you're interested in the game, I recommend you check out philophobiagame.com. I'll link it down in the description. But if you didn't know, I've been streaming on Twitch 6 days a week, 6 hours a day. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this video when it comes out on the channel, I'm streaming right now on Twitch. And I stream my entire game development process, so if you want to come hang out, I recommend you do. The link is down in the description below. We get up to some crazy shenanigans, so I highly recommend you come check it out. But that's it for the Dev Report this week. My name is Tim Ruswick, and I will see you again next week.